Today's Toy Spot, we are looking at the Hasbro Transformers Generation Combiner Wars Powerglide. Legion, Scout class, I'm not really quite sure what they're called, but Autobot Powerglide. Not only do you get him in robot mode, he'll also transform into his jet, but he also serves as a target master for other Transformers too. And during my review of Bombshell, that was the one thing I mentioned about that figure. It seemed as if he looked, but based on his little extra cannons that he had at the back of him and they stuck out from his knees, it looked like he should have also been a target master. At any rate though, Powerglide comes with a trading card and some nice artwork up top there of Powerglide. This is a better suited Powerglide than that big Voyager class Powerglide we got in Transformers Generations. Just too big and bulky for my liking. The back of the package shows the three modes for Powerglide: robot mode, jet mode, and then the Target Master gun mode for one of the, well, in this case they've used aerial bots, but you could use them for other things as well. The read-up, quick read-up says, aerial acrobat well versed in dogfighting tactics. That's all it says. This comes to us from the folks over at Hasbro, also indicated down below. It's an authentic Transformer, just in case you were worried. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at Hasbro Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Powerglide. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Like Bombshell, Powerglide comes with his own trading card. I'm not even sure really if this artwork is specific to these cards or if it was pulled from other source material, but I think the artwork on it is quite nice. Nice thick card as well. And then on the back, we've got Transformers Generations. I wish it had been a read-up or something on Powerglide, but still. Decent looking trading card. Putting that to the side. Okay, so having a look at Powerglide. He's pretty accurate to the original Generation 1 Powerglide. A little bit different here and there, but for the most part he's pretty accurate. His transformation is a little more complex as well than the original Powerglide, which I think essentially you just stood it up. His head was already there, and then you basically just folded the arms down and extended the legs. This one has a little more going on to it than that. Areas that kind of are a pain in the butt are these back flaps here. I find them really loose. Maybe it's just on my particular Powerglide. And then from there, like this area here, I find has a tough time staying together when you're transforming it. In fact, when you kind of start moving it, you might find that these areas start popping out and they start separating from one another. But jet mode, for the most part, is pretty clean and consistent with what we've seen before from a Powerglide. He does have a landing gear as well. One is on the front, and then he's got two on the back here. They're slightly in an awkward position, the back landing gears. The front one, you can't really push in unless you lift up the cockpit. Just like that, and then you can fold it back in. Just doesn't seem to have proper clearance to get that in, and as you can see, like, here's where the legs become an issue. They want to be prone to kind of moving out from themselves, but for the most part, I like the jet mode. I just kind of wish he was a little more cohesive. He kind of actually reminds me, and this is a really bad comparison, but he kind of reminds me of the Generations Cyclonus, the original Generations Cyclonus, where you transformed him into a jet. But it feels like at any given point, you felt like the jet really wasn't a complete piece. I kind of feel the same with Powerglide. He doesn't really feel like a complete piece. He feels like he is comprised of parts. But still, it's a pretty good looking jet, to say the least. You still have his fists in the front. That's one thing that has stayed consistent with the other, the Generation 1 toy. But jet mode isn't all that bad. To get this guy transformed, it's a little more involved than what I was initially expecting. What you want to do first is fold the wings in, kind of like that. Take the back landing gear, which will eventually be his feet. In fact, right away, as soon as you move him forward, you can kind of see how those are going to be the robot's feet. And then really from there, legs are mostly done. Take the back wings, flip them forward, and then these wings are going to move up. But we won't move them up just yet. Actually, you know what? We can. Well, it doesn't really affect transformation. I was going to say really what you want to do is move this out first, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Maybe what we'll do it anyways. Take the back section here, untab it, and this is the one thing that's a little more problematic for me. Take it and untab it, but when you transform it into jet mode, it folds back like this, but when you transfer it to jet mode, it slides forward. And your notion is to peg it in as far forward as it will go, but there's actually little pegs. There's a peg on either side here, and the slots, when you transfer it to jet, are technically further back than what you think that they would be. So I initially, when I transformed it to jet mode, I moved it as far forward as I could, and it actually doesn't sit into place. You actually have to tab it slightly back to tab it into place. At any rate though, you're going to slide this whole back cockpit further back, and it just sits inside the back of the robot. Then from there, of course, we're going to take the wings. They can go up. His head, you have to kind of, and you know what, maybe for that we bring it back a little bit. Take the head and you have to swivel it around, then peg that back into place. The wings have little notches, and there's a little tab on either side of his body. Those just snap into place. And then, you guessed it, his arms will just untab out. Oops, not completely out. No, not completely out. But they tab out from the wings, just like that. And then you can bring the arms out. And pretty much, there you have Powerglide. Powerglide in robot mode is a great nostalgic trip down to the original Generation 1 toy that I had. I love that mini-con of Powerglide, and I think this is a pretty faithful representation of that robot. He's in robot mode, even though the transformation from Jet to him goes a little bit different than the original toy. The end result, looking at it, looks like an updated take on the original Generations 1 toy. He certainly has a lot more articulation than the original toy did as well, and I like his face. His face is a really good update to the original Powerglide. Why oh why did Hasbro decide to release a Powerglide of all characters in their original Voyager class line? It just makes no sense. Powerglide should always be like a mini-con, or like a mini-bot, sorry, a mini-bot transformer. He should be small. He should be smaller than the likes of like a Prime and other larger transformers. He makes more sense like this, personally. When it comes to his articulation, he does have a swivel in the head, although the head is the hardest thing to change on him, because you actually have to swivel it into the cockpit of the jet. He does have a nice ball joint movement in the arms. He has a hinge also in the elbow area there. And it looks like he has a swivel in the arms, but because he's got all this extra stuff I'll show you in a second, he doesn't swivel in the arm area. No swivel also in the waist, but his legs go forward, back, and out. Nice bend at the knee, and also swivels in the leg area there. So overall, great looking piece. Love Powerglide here. So when it comes to transforming him into his gun mode, you're pretty much, the easiest thing to do would be to turn it into gun mode from jet mode, because essentially that's what you're doing. You have to get him back into jet mode to get him into his gun mode. So we're going to take the cockpit, move that forward once again, tap that into place, take the arms, and just bend the elbow here, bend the arm there. This unhinges out, swings forward, and just pegs into place. His legs will be prone to popping out. That's okay. Take the elbows and swing them. They'll clip right into those grooves right there. Swing this around. This also clips into place. I'm essentially just turning it back into jet mode, and then we will go from there. These peg into place. These swing forward. And again, you're essentially going to get it, the ball joint pops out a lot. You'll essentially just get it back into jet mode. Once you have it in jet mode, though, then you're going to swing the wings, I should say, forward. These guys will tab forward as well. And you'll see on the wings, see there's a slot at the top. That's where the arms peg in. But then there's a secondary slot there. A little tab on the side. These swing forward and clip into place. Then spin around the back. Take the little flaps here. You want to fold those down. And then these turbines of the back of the jet, they swing. Actually, I swing them the wrong way. They swing forward like that. And yes, these legs will come loose. One thing I mentioned before with when we were transforming it, these will fold forward. Just tab these back into place like that. And then, to complete the look, this comes up like a little scope, little sight. It ain't pretty, but it's somewhat believable for a gun. I've seen worse. Let's just say I've seen worse. He's got some missiles going on the sides, which will really be the undersides of his arms. The cannon's now brought forward. And then you got a little scope going on there. It's not horrible. You know, again, of all the Target Master attempts that Hasbro has made, this one is a little more successful than some of the others. Where the original Transformers Classics Voyager class Powerglide, I think, just wasn't a successful looking piece, this figure saves that considerably. The transformation is pretty straightforward. I find at times that his jet mode is a little too sectional for my liking, where it likes to come apart a lot. But I'm really happy with how the robot mode looks. And likely that's going to be how I'm going to be displaying it anyways, is in robot mode here. Both him and Bombshell so far have been really fun pieces to pick up. Fun to transform, fun looking robot modes, and for the most part, really decent alt modes. Powerglides also seems to be the harder of the figures to find. So I would say if you guys get a chance and you're able to find him, do pick him up. Especially if you're a fan of the original mini bots from the old Generation 1 toys. This guy will bring back memories. Today's Toy Spot, we were looking at the Hasbro Transformers Combiner Wars Scout class, Leader class, whatever you want to call it. We're having a look today at Powerglide. Thanks for watching as you always do, guys. Certainly stay tuned. Spot's going to have more videos and Transformer reviews heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.